Most people assume government applications take a long time because someone is slow, inefficient, or simply doesn't care. That explanation feels emotionally satisfying because it gives us a person to blame, but it's almost never the real reason. In reality, delays are usually the result of how large systems are intentionally designed to function. When systems are responsible for fairness, accuracy, and risk management at scale, speed becomes a secondary concern. Once you understand that, long wait times stop feeling random and start feeling predictable. In this video, we're going to break down how government applications actually move through the system. We'll look at what happens after you submit an application, why waiting occurs even when nothing is technically wrong, and why many attempts to speed things up actually make the system slower instead of faster. This explanation applies broadly across government processes, not just one agency or one type of application. Most people imagine a very simple process. You submit an application. Someone reviews it. A decision is made. You receive an answer. That mental model feels reasonable because it's how small organizations operate. When only a few people are involved, decisions can move quickly and informally. Judgment and experience substitute for rigid structure. But large government systems cannot operate that way. The scale is entirely different, and the consequences of inconsistency are much higher. Every decision must align with thousands or millions of other decisions made in the past, and with decisions that will be made in the future. That requirement fundamentally changes how the system is designed. In reality, government applications move through a multi-stage pipeline. The first stage is intake. This is where applications are received, logged, categorized, and checked for basic completeness. At this stage, the system is not evaluating whether the information is correct, persuasive, or sufficient. It is simply confirming that required fields exist and that the submission meets minimum technical requirements. This distinction matters because many applicants assume that once something is submitted, it is actively being reviewed by a decision maker. In most systems, that is not the case. Intake is about organization and control, not judgment. To make this more concrete, imagine a department that processes permit applications. On paper, the process looks simple. An application comes in, someone reviews it, and a decision is issued. But in practice, that single application may be touched by multiple systems before a human ever looks at it. First, the application is logged into an intake system. Then it may be checked automatically for missing information. If something is incomplete, it is flagged and set aside. If it passes, it enters a queue. That queue may already contain tens of thousands of other applications. Some are older, some are newer. Some are simple. Some involve higher risk or legal complexity. When a reviewer finally opens the application, they may not be deciding anything yet. They may only be confirming that the case qualifies for the next stage. If it does not, it is routed elsewhere. If it does, it moves forward. From the applicant's perspective, nothing appears to be happening. From the system's perspective, the application is moving exactly as designed. After intake, applications enter a queue. And this is where most waiting time occurs. Queues are not simply first come, first served. They are ordered based on internal rules, legal mandates, staffing availability, and risk prioritization. Some cases are straightforward. Others are complex. Some involve higher consequences if mistakes are made. From the outside, this ordering looks arbitrary. From inside the system, it is structured triage designed to minimize overall risk. It's also important to understand that queues are rarely static. Cases move forward, backward, and sideways. New information can pause a case. Policy changes can reshuffle priorities. Staffing levels can fluctuate week to week. All of this affects how long any single application waits. Applications also rarely move through the system in a straight line. Most pass through multiple reviewers, databases, and checkpoints. A single case may be reviewed, paused, flagged, escalated, returned for clarification, and reviewed again. It may require cross-checks with external agencies or historical records. It may trigger secondary review steps that were not obvious at the beginning. Each handoff introduces delay. Not because someone is careless, but because each step exists to prevent errors, fraud, or inconsistent outcomes. When accuracy matters more than speed, redundancy is intentional. This is frustrating for applicants, but from the system's perspective, mistakes are far more costly than delays. The biggest driver of long delays is not inefficiency. It is capacity mismatch. If a department can process 1,000 applications per week, but 1,200 arrive, a backlog forms immediately. Even if every employee performs perfectly, the system falls behind. Once a backlog exists, delays begin to compound. Small disruptions such as staff absences, new regulations, policy changes, or software updates magnify the problem. Recovery takes far longer than the initial disruption. Backlogs are not necessarily a sign of failure. They are a mathematical outcome of sustained demand, exceeding processing capacity. One of the most frustrating aspects of these systems is that they rarely feel fair. Two people can submit similar applications and receive decisions months apart. One case appears to move quickly, while another seems to stall indefinitely. This happens because fairness in large systems does not mean equal timing. It means consistent rule application over time. The system is optimized to ensure that similar cases are treated the same way when they are reviewed, not that they are reviewed at the same moment. That distinction matters. A system that prioritized speed above all else would produce faster decisions, but also more mistakes, more reversals, and more unequal outcomes. From the outside, delays feel personal. From the inside, they are a trade-off the system has already chosen. A common response to delays is the question, why don't they just hire more people? In practice, hiring rarely fixes the problem quickly. New staff must be trained. Oversight increases. Quality controls expand. Experienced workers spend time supervising instead of processing cases. During this transition period, the system often slows down even further. This is why short-term fixes frequently make delays worse before they improve. There are also budgetary and political constraints. Staffing levels are often set years in advance. Funding may be fixed. Hiring approvals may be slow. These constraints exist regardless of how large the backlog becomes. Many people attempt to resolve delays by calling customer service. But customer service teams usually do not control the queue. They can see status updates and provide information, but they cannot bypass reviews, reorder priorities, or override system rules. Their role is communication, not decision-making. From the system's perspective, answering calls consumes resources that could otherwise be used to process applications. This is why calling rarely changes outcomes, even when representatives are polite and helpful. This structure is not unique to one agency or one type of application. It appears across permits, benefits, licenses, passports, regulatory approvals, and immigration cases. The details differ, but the underlying design is the same. The system is built to manage risk, apply rules consistently, and operate at scale. Speed is secondary to defensibility. Government systems are not designed to feel responsive. They are designed to be defensible. Every decision must be explainable, auditable, and repeatable, even years later. Once you understand this, delays stop feeling personal. They become a feature of the system's priorities, not a reflection of individual effort or attention. If you want to understand how other systems actually work, government, corporate, and institutional, subscribe to Inside the System. Future videos will break down what's really happening behind the scenes and why so many systems behave the way they do.